Plumbing day. Here is our brand new water heater. Gonna bring in the 100-gallon freshwater tank.
And right before this filter, we're gonna have a 5-micron filter. This is 0.4 microns.
We'll get it laid out in the compartment and see what we like. Do it. Taking out this 120 volt heating element and putting in a 24 volt DC heating element.
We think that all the connections in the water system have been made. We think.
On the fresh side, at least.
On the fresh side. We will find out very quickly if something is not connected right, because there will be a massive leak. So, the time has come to fill the tank and start running the water through some of these pipes. The gray water part is not completely hooked up yet, like for the sink. We're waiting on our little gray water tank to come that goes underneath the sink. So we're just gonna put a bucket in there for now and test the fresh side of the system.
Yep, we'll see what's leaking. See if we missed any crimp connections or anything.
This is a big moment. Let's see how we did.
All coiled in a way. Moment of truth. Let's see how many leaks we have. There's usually a few. And then you tighten things down. So, like this isn't even clamped yet. Probably want to do that first.
Good start, good start.
Yeah. Luckily there's a screwdriver right here. I have to cut this fill hose down, but I'm waiting till the water tank is permanently installed to where it's going to be so I can cut it exactly at that point. This is just an early test, so I'll just hold this up so the water goes into the tank.
So far, so good. I don't think I see any leaks.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be turning the pump on and we'll see. Alright, so far so good, but we also haven't turned on the pump, so you really won't see anything until the pump turns on, so this doesn't tell us a lot.
It tells you have a few good connections for the fill.
Yeah, the fill is not really under any pressure, unless it's really bad, shouldn't leak. Everything's so white in here, I can't tell like where the water line is, if there's even water moving through anything. Is it leaking? Alright, well, maybe we'll turn the pump on and that's where we'll start to see pressure and see what happens. Alright, I'm going to turn the pump on now.
Alright. How's it looking over there, Drew?
Don't see anything yet. Not sure where water's even gotten to at this point though. When do I start seeing water? I got some water in the sink.
Hey, that's good news. We got water at the accumulator.
Okay. What side?
Not sure because it's running.
There's both sides of it are leaking, so yeah. I think I hand tightened it and I didn't crank it at all with the wrench.
That'll do it every time.
Well, there's a rubber compression thing in there, so you don't want to overdo it. Looks good over here. The bigger deal is that the PEX clamps are good because you have to redo those if they're not working. That's what it is. heavy, full of water. I just have these capped for now until we install the shower faucets later. Oh, I gotta tape those up there. That's gonna be annoying. Going through that water filter.
Wow. Good shower.
Yeah. Who needs an indoor shower? We got that.
Right.
That, folks, is a shower. Pressure looks good. Can't wait to use this. Plus, eventually, once we get to it, there'll be a little bit of an outdoor kitchen here, and it's nice to have water for that, obviously, for washing food or dishes. So, yeah, this is going to be awesome. We never actually have had this on our own rigs. The first time we're getting it, so pretty exciting. Seems to be dry. I don't see any
No
water.
leaks?
I think we're good.
Good job.
So we only have the inside shower left, which we haven't gotten to that project yet, but everything else is hooked up. Fresh water is plumbed to the sink, the outdoor shower, and to the internal shower. Next up, gray water for the sink. So we're going to do a really simple underneath the sink setup, just a tank that you can take out by hand and dump easily anywhere you are. We found that over the years, living full time, it's a lot easier to deal with a small tank that you can dump anywhere, as opposed to a big RV tank that you have to hook up to a dump, sometimes pay for. So we're going to do a simple setup. There's a brand new carbon filter in this housing, so we're gonna flush it first, so any sediment that might come out does not go into the Seagull. I'll just dump it into this tank, and then we can hook it up to the Seagull and we'll be good to go. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Also, hopefully it doesn't leak at all, because I didn't tighten this with a wrench yet. Let's see what we got. Some more. I just got to make sure none of these connections are leaking. Then we can mount the housing and connect it to the Seagull, and then we'll have fresh, clean, filtered water in our sink. Here is our super simple setup. So we're just going to do a 7-gallon tank directly under the sink. I got kind of one of these. They're actually advertised as like RV sink drain valves. They do kind of work for this because they have a lot of play in them. Kind of has a little trap in the bottom. And then I took the part that comes along with this. It's clipped into there. I took it off and I put it into the cap that came to this. I had to cut it down because it was catching on the lip here. And then once I cut it down, it wants to fall in. So the next thing is, how do you hold it up? And I just rigged up, I put an O-ring in there, and then I just did this grommet just to hold it on. And now it holds on to this piece, but still has some movement, so it should spin off easy. I thought about doing like plastic epoxy and completely connecting these pieces. I still might, but for now I'm just going to do this grommet. And honestly, I prefer just having a small tank like this that you can dump by hand every day or two. So with this cap modified, now I can hook it back to the hose it came with. And then I'll be able to just screw it on there real simply. And then when you want to take it out, dump it, take it off, go dump it. Pretty simple. Let's get this bad boy in place. See if we can screw that down on there. Nice. And then, I don't know, we go left or right. Ooh, you can even spin it in there. It's just small enough. I'm not sure what the best orientation is for this yet. We'll figure that out as we go. That's fine for now. The nice thing is you can create like a natural P-trap with these hoses. So that will keep your gases and fumes from rising up through the drain. And the cap with the rubber seal on it should keep most of the gases and smells from coming out of the tank. Once again, I dump this like every day, pretty much as a habit, just so it doesn't ever overflow. So it's not too much of a concern. But yeah, it's nice to have that set up. Give it a test. We can test the filters, see how the water tastes, and see if our drain is leaking, because it might be. We haven't tested it yet. Any slow leaks on anything? Yeah, it looks good down here. It feels pretty dry. I'm not seeing any leaks. So
Nice. That's a small win.
onward and upward. Yeah, the connections on the filters are all really good.
Do you want me to run it?
I guess.
Let's run it for a minute before we taste it so that it can
see
run through the filters.
Yeah, I'll see if it's leaking down here. It's good.
How's it taste?
I think good.
You think good?
I'm not getting anything weird.
I don't taste plastic.
Does it taste good?
Yeah.
Tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job, Seagull.
All right, so filters are working. We presume. They're definitely working on the flavor, and probably everything else. But yeah, it tastes good.
This tastes better than the water in our bus.
Yeah.
This definitely...
Well, it's definitely another step up.
It's several more steps up. And it's also... It's filtering that plasticky taste out of the water, which is really hard to get out.
Right.
From the tank.
Yeah, that's the one thing with those tanks. Next thing is testing the water heater. It's not leaking right now, but they usually don't leak until they get up to pressure, which as the temperature goes up, the pressure increases. And that's where you'll see them leak. So we got to run that for a little bit, get it up to temperature, and see if we're good, or if I have to make a new gasket. So that's next. I'm going to turn the power back on and see if it's working. On the electrode, I guess I'll be able to see how much power is being pulled. It's a 600 watt element. Probably got another 100 on with lights. So let's see what we got. We got lights. Yep, minus 700. So that makes sense. That means it's on. Otherwise, we'd only be at about 100. There you can see here. There's the load. It's taking that out of the battery because there's no power coming in. So 600 or so of that is the water heater. Now the test is run it, see if the thermostat kicks off, and then make sure it's not leaking when we get it actually up to temperature. So we'll have to wait a little bit for that, but we'll be checking that out and hopefully it's good. Let's see how much leaking we got. Water heater turned off. And I don't hear the water pump going. And it feels dry. I think we're good.
No water?
It's set to about 135 degrees right now. Yeah, feels dry. We'll keep watching it for a while, but usually it's, as soon as it gets to a certain temperature, it breaks that seal. And I don't think that's going to happen here, so I think we're good. Okay, we can see we're only using about 85 watts right now, so we know the water heater is definitely off because it'd be closer to 700 if it was on. So let's check the faucet and see how hot it is.
Oh, it's feeling warm. Oh yeah, it's feeling really warm. Okay, it's hot. It's really hot. Ooh, can you see the steam? Oh yeah, it's super warm. I can't even believe that there's water coming out of the faucet at all, let alone hot water. We have a smaller water heater than we had in our bus. This one is only 2.5 gallons, but it fits in the space a lot better. So we decided to size down, and our plan for this is to just run the water heater at a hotter temperature and mix in more cold for showers. So that'll make the hot water go a lot further, and we think that we can get 2 showers out of the 2.5 gallons of hot water. But we'll see. Further testing is needed for that. But for right now, it's working. It's not leaking. It's turning itself on and off. And there's hot water coming out of the tap. Yes, we did it.
Well, howdy folks, we're back with a new water heater.
You may be wondering why I'm holding a different brand water heater. You may say to yourself, Savannah and Drew, you already installed a water heater into your build. And to that, I say, yes, we did, but it started leaking at the seams. It started pouring water out of all of the welds, and that was a really fun time.
Short story long, the fittings were all good, and even the gasket for the heating element didn't leak, but the tank itself was leaking.
And then when we went to go replace the water heater, it was a Rheem water heater, it was completely out of stock everywhere. We could not get the same water heater. So eventually I found this one that is apparently made by the same company under a different brand. I don't know, but it has all the same fittings on the top, so we don't have to redo the pecs.
Yeah, so we tested to make sure the gasket on the heating element was not leaking, and it actually wasn't leaking, but the tank itself was leaking. Really annoying.
Ugh.
This is the same tank. The only difference is this, instead of having a valve here, you just have a valve here. But yeah, the fittings are the same. So we'll go right back in with ease. The problem is if you get a different one, you got to redo the pecs and all that. So we're going to get this in, and hopefully there's no leaks.
Just leaking at the seams, not even a connection point. I mean, you can't do anything about that.
I love plumbing.
Oh, this is round two of our water heater.
Here we go.
Last few things here to wrap up the water system. We are going to add some little rings onto the floor so that we can strap down the water heater. That will make sure that it doesn't fly around or shift positions when we're driving, especially when we're off-roading. And I also made a new little plate for our water pump and accumulator. I just welded this together and we put the plastic inside of it. Then we can glue and screw this down to the floor. So we can keep that vertical positioning of the plastic piece. We don't have to change any of the fittings, but it can add a little bit more stability. So hopefully this will be a better setup.
First of all, I'm getting notes of toasted sycamore and almond.
Sycamore and almond?
No, just water.
Oh, that's not good.